Welcome back to another episode of The Inquisitive Analyst. I'm here with a guest who runs his own YouTube show called IT Journeys and Convos.
Exactly.
And he interviews innovators, he interviews leaders in the IT world, particularly product management, some agile stuff as well. And I'll just let his name is Olumide Ajala, and I'll just allow Olumide to expand on his podcast show.
Thank you so much, Marcus. So for viewers watching, my name is Olumide Ajala. I'm a business analyst at the core and at the heart. I also run my own podcast, the IT Journeys and Convos podcast, where I speak with leaders, innovators, thought leaders in the IT industry, in product management, business analysis, project management, agile, and cybersecurity, and all over IT, right? So that's a little bit about me, right?
Okay, awesome. And he's also from Calgary, as I am too. We're both situated here in Calgary at a Starbucks. So I thought, why not an in-person interview? That would be
of course
fantastic.
Absolutely.
So thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Marcus. It's good to meet you.
Yes, welcome. Now, Olumide, you're new to Canada, relatively new.
Relatively, yes.
And you've had some ups and downs, like many newcomers who come to Canada.
Of course.
And I thought I would talk to you about some of these ups and downs and how newcomers can get a hold of the tools and the techniques that they need in order to grow relatively quickly in the BA world.
Right.
So that's what today's topic is all about.
Yep.
So let's start out with, were you a business analyst before you came to Canada?
All right, so yes, and there's a funny story behind that, right? I've been a business analyst all of my career. Okay. Right out of school, I got into IT consulting, a management consulting company where we're doing both IT, HR, process-related consulting. And for the first 5 years of my career, I did not know what my profession was called because I was doing HR, I was doing IT, I was in process, I was in strategy, so for a while I didn't even know what it was called. When I started off my career, just backtrack a bit, I started off mostly as a database developer.
Okay.
So I was building databases mostly in Microsoft Access, doing work around SQL Server, building mostly HR applications.
It's all back-end stuff.
Yeah, okay. Mostly back-end stuff, right? So that's what I was doing, but of course, with time, I had to evolve to start, clarifying what the requirements were, understanding, what it is that was being done. So very quickly, I moved out of that hardcore technical role into a role where I was talking to stakeholders, mm-hmm. right? And developing templates, developing documentation, right, for other technical guys to work on, because I understood their language, right? And I was here interfacing with the stakeholders, right? So at some point in my life, I wanted to do a second degree at some point in my life. And I started looking for what looked closest to what I was doing. And then I found the business systems analysis course that was at City University in London. And I came across the whole syllabus, right? And I said, wow, this is exactly what I'm doing, right? Yeah. This is called business analysis, right? And there came across IBA and all that, and then I was able to put a stamp on it.
So you've gone from a technical background into a business front-end background.
Yeah.
You transition basically, and now you can speak both languages, the technical side as well as the front-end business side.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Now, what was a path that you've just explained how you got into it? Is that how you got into business analysis before you came to Canada, or is that how you got into it? Actually, that was in the UK. You mentioned.
No, that was in Nigeria. Actually.
Oh, in Nigeria. Okay. Yeah. And so then you moved to the UK at one point. You just mentioned you took.
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. I eventually didn't move to the UK.
Okay.
Right,
okay.
But I mean, here we are.
Here we are. All right.
Yeah, I moved here to Canada.
Great.
Yes, I am a newcomer, right? So.
so that you've already got the background, you've got the training. You come into Canada. What was the path like getting a business analyst job here in the city of Calgary? Any ups and downs and any challenges that you had to overcome?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Coming in as a new immigrant, it was kind of tough getting getting a BA role
Yeah.
right out of the bat.
Yeah.
I had to apply to a lot of jobs,
Right.
like most new immigrants would do.
Yeah.
Very few people call you back.
And because you've got the experience not in Canada, but outside of Canada.
Yes, exactly. So I think the major challenge then was that I didn't have the Canadian experience.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I had actually spoken to a recruiter, right, who said, "Oh, I like all your experience. It sounds good, but there's no Canadian experience here," right? And I said to them, "You're dealing with a system, an ERP that I've worked on. I have about 3 years experience working on this ERP.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if my non-Canadian experience is different from what I would have here," right? So that was a blocker for some time.
And
but
how did you overcome that? What were the steps you took to try and overcome that?
all right, overcoming it was not, basically it was just kept applying, right? I kept applying. Apart from applying, I was networking a lot.
Okay.
So I was networking a lot, having coffee chats, talking to people. Everyone I had the chance to talk to, I went to talk to them, right? If I had anyone I could meet and tell them, "Hey, I'm a business analyst, I'm new in Canada, I've done this, and I want to get in," it helped. And along the line, while I was doing that, one of the people I spoke with actually introduced me to one of the top IT recruiting firms here in Calgary, right? He introduced me to them, and he basically just told them, "Hey, this guy, he sounds like someone who's legit, he's good, he knows what he's talking about, have a chat with him." And fortunately, everything just aligned at the time. I spoke with them, and at that time they had a client who was looking for a business analyst with my exact skill set, right? And that's how I broke into the industry in Canada.
So, because I've heard, I work with, as a volunteer with CRIAC, the Canadian Regional Immigrant Employment Council, and they help people like myself volunteer to be a mentor for newcomers. And so we sit down with them and figure out their resume, show them how to write a resume, how to write a covering letter, how to apply and follow up on jobs. I even do like mock interviews with some of my mentees. And probably the quickest person, or the person who got a job the quickest here, was in 3 months. 3 months as a BA. And he'd only been in Canada for 3 months. 3 months he met me, and then 3 months later got a job. And I thought this was the quickest that I'd ever seen. And he, in those 3 months that we were doing our mentor-mentee work, he got his CBAT certification. So that was one. But also, I think the longest person I've worked with took him about 11 months, almost a year, to find a job.
Yeah.
But I think because he was traveling a bit, so he was in and out of the country, and that made it a bit difficult. But I'd say probably, usually, it's said, even for people who have been here for a long time, it's said that 6 months on average is how long it takes to find a job.
Right. Yeah.
So how long would you say from the time you got here to the time you started applying to the time you got the job? You remember how many months that was?
It was about 3 months.
It was about 3 months. Yeah.
It was about 3 months, and you're 100% correct, right? I've worked with a lot of people as well. I found the average time is somewhere between 3 and 9 months.
Okay.
Right.
That's fair.
Between 3 and 9 months. If the person is someone who's, like you said, maybe distracted, traveling, has another job, is not as focused, right? Then maybe a year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But hey,
max,
in 1 year, you still got to pay the bills.
You still got to pay the bills. And there's all these odd jobs you can get, and we've all been there. I've done it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've juggled 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And sometimes that job might be working at a grocery store.
Exactly.
Or working, who knows, maybe even at a computer store.
Exactly.
Right? And then you do that for 6 months to a year. You got your foot in the door if it's an IT kind of related job. and then from there you kind of help out.
Exactly.
When I look back to the call centers I worked in, to the floors that I swept, to the toilets that I cleaned, the list is endless. I've done it all. And so no job is too big or too small for me.
At all.
I just do it, you know.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
Eventually, when you get your foot into what you want, then you start to grow from there.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
Good, awesome. Now, I've noticed that you've got a blog post on LinkedIn, and you do write
interesting,
some
right?
regular
Yeah,
blogs.
yes.
And I've been keeping track of it. I've been reading some of them. And one blog particularly came to mind, and we've talked a bit about this. So it's all about trying to find important goals and the power of focus.
Exactly.
And I think this is very important for anyone, particularly people who come to Canada, who are newcomers to Canada. And I guess you've talked about some of the challenges you've had and the path that you took to get there. How do you think that BAs who come to a new country can set clear goals, clear career objectives, and clear career goals?
All right, that's something really good and interesting to talk about. So I like to take things from a top to bottom approach, right? When I tell people, when you're setting goals, the first thing you want to look at is, what do you want to achieve? What's the big picture here, right? You look at that big picture and you begin to break it down, right? So if you say, hey, I want to be a BA, right? And I say, what's the goal behind that?
Right.
Why can't you be an accountant? Why do you want to be a BA? Why don't you go into product management, right? You know, so what's the goal? Where are you going, right? All sorts of things for everybody, right? Career advancements, you know, it's something I like, you know, more money.
It helps if it's something you like.
Yeah. More money.
It helps if the money is there.
Yeah, exactly,
Sure,
you know. So everybody has what their why is.
Right.
And you begin to break it down from there.
I think that's important because BAs we always talk about the why, the 5 whys.
Five
Why,
whys,
what,
exactly.
when, how.
Yeah.
And having something, like you said, that's achievable, I think is important. So you set a 2-year goal or set a 1-year goal.
And then you break it into chunks.
Exactly, with milestones, small milestones, phases. And say within 6 months I want to get my ECBA or my CBAP or my CCBA. Within another 6 months I want to get employed as a BA or something like this. Maybe I'm going to go to CRIAC and become a mentee for a while, you know, or maybe do 2 things at once. But setting out that journey map, I think, is important.
Absolutely.
But still, we can get distracted, you know, because there's a lot of distractions in Canada. I don't know about where you came from Nigeria, but every country has distractions.
So
but there's
one way I've been able to overcome some of that is by doing something known as the snowball effect.
Okay.
And what it is, you know, just like, you know, you take a little chunk, you get a quick win from that, right? Then you go to a bigger goal, right? Something that has a higher difficulty level or that's going to take a little more time. Yeah. So the dopamine or the adrenaline you get, you've gotten from achieving that one, right, will drive you to achieve the next one, right? And then you continue to push until you can achieve the biggest thing, right? So if you say, I want to write the CBAP, for instance, right? What are your goals? Begin to just break it down. Say, I want to do one knowledge area in 2 weeks, right? And from that 2 weeks, I want to write a practice test. Do a practice test, get to score 80%. If I can do that, I can do it successfully, then I can move to the next one, right? Because you then get a rush to say, hey, I can do this, right? And then you do that in what? 12 weeks, in 14, 16 weeks, 4 months, you'll probably write your CBAP and pass it, right? But you've broken it down into 2-week blocks. And with those 2-week blocks, you have quick wins, which are pushing you and fueling you, right? So that's how I like to take it. I'm not a very big goal person, right? I have the big goals, but they can be intimidating, right? So you take it in small bits, get that win, go, yes, I did it. and then you can, continue pushing.
And I think that's important, the word achievable. Get a goal that's achievable.
Yep.
Maybe even something that's measurable too. And that measurability would be that one chapter in 2 weeks. There's that measure. And then can I achieve it? If you want to go here, or should I say, I want to go here, you want to start here, and you start falling down and you wonder why. It's because you didn't take small steps.
Exactly, right? Yeah, so that's it.
Okay, good.
And there's someone that told me something a couple of years ago, one of my bosses, which is something I've, kept at the back of my head. He says, you can't grow tall by jumping, right? Okay. You can't grow tall by jumping, right? If you want to reach where a tall person can reach, you get a ladder, and then you climb. And you climb a ladder step by step, right? So if I wanted to get something from a shelf that was higher than I could reach, jumping would not solve it. Yeah, I would jump and my hand would get there, but I'll come back down real quick, right? And that's frustrating, right? So why don't you work at getting that ladder, put it there, and go step by step.
Step by step. How do we create a distraction-free workspace? I'm still working on that, and I've been working for a long time. But any tips?
So first things for me is having a clean workspace. First, have a clean, dedicated workspace. I think that helps to focus and reduces your distractions. If you can just clear it out, everything's clean, it's tidy. All you have is your screen, your PC, your mouse, keyboard, maybe a notebook and a pen. That's it, right?
That's a big distraction.
One thing which I learned recently is the Pomodoro technique.
Pomodoro
right?
technique, okay.
And it's so simple, it just blows your mind. Like, hey, focus for 2 hours. How do you focus for 2 hours? Do 25 minutes chunks.
Right.
25 minutes, take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
25 minutes, take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Right? Until you're done up to 2 hours.
Right.
After 2 hours, you can then take a 15-minute break. Right? And what I do when I want to zone in and get work done is keep the phone away, put it in silent, put it totally off for that 2 hours. Trust me, nothing is going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen. Okay.
Right? Yeah. Put it away. 2 hours. When you're done with that 2-hour chunk, you have that 15 minutes. You can go back to your phone, check your calls, whatever it is you want to do. But what I find more often than not is after the 2 hours, what you've achieved will spur you to say, hey, I want to go another 2. Okay. Right? Yeah. And before you know it, 6 hours is gone. It's gone, right? So that's it.
And some people are good at just focusing for 2 hours, 3 hours straight up, no break, even maybe 8 hours. And others get fidgety and then they say, I have to go into something else. So I know some people time block, like you said. So 2 hours on something and you're done.
Yep.
You'll touch it tomorrow. Or even 30 minutes on something, you're done, touch it tomorrow.
Exactly.
And then another 2 hours something else, or another half an hour something else. I find too, if I'm in my house, even if the door is shut, kids are knocking on the door, the other half wants something, maybe some aunt and uncle something, it goes on and it never ends. So sometimes I just get up and I go to the library.
Yep.
And then I put my phone on silent, and they won't see me for 2-3 hours.
Yeah. That works too, right? Gets in a distraction-free environment. Sometimes, hey, it's summer.
It's
right. While we're recording this, it's summer, right? So it's summer, so of course you have kids coming in and out, and all that. And hey, can I have this? Can I take that from the fridge? And like, I'm busy. So do whatever you want, right? But one way to beat that is get in a distraction-free environment. Look for somewhere quiet where you can work, where you can zone out. Right? There's some of us that seeing people moving around distracts us, right? So even if you're in the library or something, look for a place that faces the wall, right? And get some noise canceling headphones or something. Plug it in, play some white noise, right? So you're not listening to music, play some white noise. cancel the noise around you and you can focus, right? Some people, they're fine with people moving around, so I'm zoned in the laptop, I can get my work done, right? That's fine, go to the library, you know? So it's clean environments, distraction-free environments, those things are really, really important. And also writing things down.
Okay.
For me, I like to write down, so every morning, I write down what I want to achieve, right? Put it in my journal. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yes.
Right? If I look at it, 10's too much. Just these 3 things.
Yes.
Just these 5 things, right? Achieve them. I'm done, right? So that also helps, right? Because a lot of times also, while you're focused and zoned in, a thought can drop in your head that says, hey, you need to do this, right? And then you go, oh my, let me just quickly get to that and do that, and then I'll come back to this. And then you get to that and you get into a rabbit hole, right? And you're there the whole day, you know? So just have that and have something to be able to tick off, right?
I think that's good.
I didn't grow up, I grew up with computers all my life, but I found that I like to write with my hands, right? So I write it down, I can check it off. Checking it off gives me a high, right? Say, done, boom. You know, that's it.
Oh, let's talk about the idea of rest. And I think that rest is obviously vitally important in any job, and particularly for BAs. So, and you talked about taking breaks every 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, something like that. But do you regularly schedule breaks in your day, or is there another alternative way to do it? How do we take consistent breaks? Not just a 5-minute break, but being able to get that 8 hours of sleep every day, that type of thing. So any advice on how can we schedule regular breaks or enough rest?
One thing, you know, which, I mean, just to, you know, reiterate what you said, business analysis is a really cerebral, it's a cerebral profession, right? Because you have to not just listen to people, you have to understand the context.
Right.
You have to be able to pick out what it is people are actually saying, right? And be able to match it to other things you've heard, right? If you're not able to rest properly, right, it's easy for things to get fuzzy, right? You could be talking to someone and you've heard half the things the person said before, but because your mind is full and fuzzy, right, you really can't tell the difference, right? And you're just like, hey, okay, and you forgot to relate it to something else, right? I'm human, it happens to me sometimes, right? So you're right, rest is something that's really important. What does rest mean? That's another question, right? For some people, rest means sitting and watching TV. For some people, it means getting a good night's sleep. Right?
It could be 6 hours, could be 8 hours.
Yeah, it could be 6 hours, could be 8 hours. You know, for some people, it's being able to take a nap during the day.
Yes. Yeah, some people do a 20-minute, half hour nap.
Just do 30-minute nap during the day. Re-energize, right? Look for those sweet spots where you have like 2 hours between your next meeting, right? 2 hours to your next meeting, right? Take a quick 30-minute nap, right? And then, you know, you wake up refreshed. You can really power through, you know, what you need to do, right? So rest is important, and it takes me back to, you know, when I hear of instances where they say, oh, I met someone who's doing 2 BA jobs. I said, that's not possible, right? How are you going to do that? Don't you rest, right? But rest is really important, right? So ways to catch rest, make sure you're getting sleep, make sure you're getting enough sleep. I'm guilty of that. I don't sleep enough, right? During the day, if you can, nap. Another thing which really important, one of the interviews I did with the Adrian Bellhumer, she was talking about the 24-hour rule, And one of the things I had said during the discussion was, there's a limit to human capacity, right?
Yeah.
And everyone has to understand their limits, right? So I know I can't take more than 3 hours. I can't take more than 3 hours straight of meetings.
Yes.
I cannot, right? After that 3 hours, I'm burnt out. I can absorb nothing
Yes.
after 3 hours straight of meetings, right? So what I try to do, try to schedule breaks between your meetings, right?
That's
Make
good.
sure, I have a meeting here, have a meeting here, have a meeting here. Scheduling the breaks for you to catch your breather. Catch your breather, drink some water, rest back on your chair,
Yes.
do nothing, right? I think cerebral work is tasking too,
Yeah.
right?
It is.
It is tasking. People think of the physical work as being more tasking.
It's not.
I wouldn't 100% say that,
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
The cerebral work itself is tasking because you find out you've been doing this for a whole day. When time comes, you closed, you feel tired. Why? Why do you feel tired? Right? You feel tired because your brain has been working, right? You've been listening, you've been speaking, right? You've been probably writing, doing some stuff on the computer, right? So you're doing stuff. It's not physical, yes, but it's tasking your brain, right? So yeah.
Last words before we go. If anyone wants to get in touch with you online, how can they do so?
Best ways to get to me on LinkedIn,
Okay.
right? That's LinkedIn/in/Olumide Ajala, right? That's the easiest way to get to me. Just shoot me a DM, right? And
Good.
you'll get across to me.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Marcus.
Appreciate that.
I've been looking forward to this
Yes.
for so long.
Splendid.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you.